Hello, students. This is Teacher Ken. Welcome to the first episode of the intermediate level of this 100% free podcast, the ESL Teacher Ken, Intermediate English for daily life and travel. Okay? We're going to be working on exercises that are going to help you internalize structure. I don't like grammar study. Grammar study is boring and it doesn't help you produce. It doesn't help you learn and speak fluently. The goal here is fluency. You have thousands of books out there for you to get your theory on, but I want you to get your hands on practice in conversation. So, this podcast is made of exercises for conversational practice, repetition exercises. The first exercise that we're going to see in the intermediate level is regarding the, let's say, first step in understanding a deeper level in English. We're going to be focusing on working on your B1 skills, and we're going to go from the most basic of this level until you feel comfortable enough to claim yourself to be a level B2 speaker, okay? Now, the book that we will be using throughout the podcast is available completely for free in all of my social media. You can look me up anywhere as E as in Echo, S as in Sam, L as in Larry, Teacher Ken. We will see the .com in a moment. Not yet, but still. ESL Teacher Ken, I am available on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and also on Spotify and YouTube in my podcasts, okay? Modal Auxiliaries. We're going to take a look at page 122 of the PDF that is available for free. If you have the physical book, which is called English Sentence Structure, I want you to go with me to page 109. We're going to see modal auxiliaries, what they are, and how to use them correctly. We're taking a look at the box A1 in lesson 11, the first lesson of the intermediate level in this book. Modal auxiliaries are simple words that enclose an entire meaning. When we have this example here on box A1 and it says will means future time and is an equivalent to be going to, means that when I am looking at this part here at the bottom, if I see I will study, first, I know that it is in the future time. And second, I know that it means the same as saying I am going to study. So basically, these are simple words that are used for specific purposes and have a meaning that can be substituted for those words. We're going to go ahead and practice very briefly on this box for pronunciation and meaning. So please, just repeat after me. Will, future time. To be, going to. Can, ability. To be able to. May, permission. To be permitted to. To have permission to. Might. Possibility. It is possible that. Should. Obligation or desirability. Ought to. Must. Inference. Conclusion. Probability. Necessity. I conclude that. It is very probable that. To have to. I will study. We will study. You will study. You will study. He will study. They will study. Now let's continue. Right here, we have 9 more sentences. These sentences are using the same modal auxiliaries that are available up here. My best recommendation is going to be in the exercise that follows this box. But for now, repeat after me. We'll read the book tomorrow. We will. John can play the piano very well. The students can smoke in the hall. The students may smoke in the hall. John may receive a letter today. John might receive a letter today. John should study every day. Mr. Smith must be about 40 years old. Mary must study tonight. She has to. Very well. So again, the most basic thing in structure is going to be you have the person, the modal auxiliary, and the action. Something very important about this is that the action is never going to be in past or have an S or have anything strange. The action after the modal auxiliary, no problem if it is will, can, may, might, or any other that we might not see in this lesson, the structure is person, modal, action, and then the rest. For us to practice this structure, we're going to go to the next page and we're going to exercise 1. Exercise 1 on our book, English Sentence Structure by Cambridge University. Page 110 in the physical book, 123 on the free PDF that is available on my social media. We have examples of the extended version of the idea, and we're going to practice substituting with the auxiliary. It's a good idea, if you have the book, to highlight what I will highlight on these pages, because it's going to be a quick cheat sheet for you to be able to locate what changes to make for this structure to be applied correctly, okay? Anyway, let's get started. Paul is going to write a letter tomorrow. We are substituting to be going to with will, similarly to what we saw on the previous page. As we continue, we see George is able to speak French very well. To be able to is substituted with can. The students have permission to smoke in the hall. The students may smoke in the hall. On the next page, is it possible that George will go to Chicago? George might go to Chicago. Mary ought to write to her parents. Mary should write to her parents. It is very probable that the girls are studying. Or I conclude that the girls are studying. The girls must be studying. Paul has to take an exam next week. Paul must take an exam next week. Let's continue and substitute. Again, if you are able to highlight on your book, I recommend you to do it because it's going to help you recognize what should be substituted for what in this exercise. Remember that the structure is always going to be the same. The person, the modal, and the action. The action is not going to be in present or in past. If it's the action have, you are not going to say he can has. You say he can have. You never say they should is or they should are, because the verb to be is called the verb to be. So they should be more careful next time. Let's continue with the exercise. We are on page 124 of English sentence structure, 111 in the physical book, 124 on the PDF. Remember, the PDF is available completely for free in all my social media. Number 1 says, Paul and George are going to play tennis tomorrow. Going to is for future, and we learned that to be going to is substituted with will. Therefore, number 1 says, Paul and George will play tennis tomorrow. Repeat. Number 2 says, it is possible that George is a very good tennis player. We have a verb here, which is the verb to be. In the case of it is possible that, we are using might. George might be a very good tennis player. So again, George might be a very good tennis player. Repeat. All right, let's continue. John is able to swim very well. John can swim very well. Repeat. We have to get up at 6 tomorrow morning. We must get up at 6 tomorrow morning. It is possible that George will watch television tonight. George might watch television tonight. It is possible that Mary is home now. Mary might be home now. Paul is able to read Japanese. Paul can read Japanese. You have permission to come in and see the doctor. You may come in and see the doctor. George is going to study in the library tonight. George will study in the library tonight. It is possible that Helen will make an apple pie. Helen might make an apple pie. My brother is in your class. I conclude that you know him. This one is a little difficult. I would just like to add, remember that the structure is always person, modal, action, and the rest. So I will repeat number 11. My brother is in your class. I conclude that you know him. You must know him. Mary is able to play the violin. Mary can play the violin. Mr. Moto has to get a new passport soon. Mr. Moto must get a new passport soon. It is possible that George is going to study business administration. George might study business administration. Mr. Moto has to take another English course. Mr. Moto must take another English course. Paul ought to write a letter to his parents every week. Paul should write a letter to his parents every week. It is very probable that you spend a lot of time in the laboratory. I conclude that you spend a lot of time in the laboratory. You must spend a lot of time in the laboratory. Every student ought to read one good book every week. Every student should read one good book every week. Last year, all of the students were able to read and write. Last year, all of the students could read and write. Now, I know you were not ready for number 19. Could is possible to be used as the past of can. It is very similar to can in the sense that we still use it for capabilities. And it is more connected to the past tense than the present tense as can is. So in the case of number 19, I say could because I am speaking about last year. If I were speaking about the present moment, I would say all of the students are able to read and write. And in that case, you would be able to say all of the students can read and write. Before I let you go with this exercise, I want to remind you that this particular exercise, these 19 sentences, I recommend you to practice at least 3 times in one day. The minimum is 3 because I want you to be able to first just explore the exercise, look at the sentences, and listen to what I have to say, and you can also repeat out loud. Starting on the second round, you can still look at the book, but you are not only going to repeat. I want you to go ahead and say the correct ideas in the exercise. After those first 2 steps, you are ready to fly solo and do this as an evaluation exercise only. Without looking at the book, you're going to listen to me tell you the sentences, and you are going to say the answer before I tell you which it is. It is this same audio that you can repeat as many times as you would like to practice this structure. The goal this year is to make it to a total of 1 million free students online. I hope that you are not just one more of them, but you are also helping me reach other students that would like to improve their structure for free. This is my gift as a teacher. Remember that English is easy. You just need to practice. See you next class.